Benvenuti a Coffee Break Italian.
Welcome back to the Coffee Break Italian Show. Io sono Mark.
E io sono Francesca.
Come stai, Francesca?
Molto bene, Mark, grazie. E tu?
Benissimo, grazie. Molto contento di essere ancora una volta nello studio con te.
Sì, anch'io adoro questo nuovo formato, adoro lo show.
Lo show. E cos'è lo show? What is the show? Well, in these weekly episodes, we're helping you build your Italian one coffee break at a time.
È vero?
Francesca, this is tea today. Is that okay?
Va bene lo stesso, sì. So if you are enjoying Coffee Break Italian Show, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast feed wherever you are receiving your podcast from, or if you're watching the video, don't forget to subscribe to our channel on YouTube.
Esatto. Francesca, what are we doing today?
Ok, oggi parliamo di aggettivi.
Aggettivi?
Sì, e ci concentriamo in particolare sulla posizione degli aggettivi.
So let's see if we can work out what this is. La posizione degli aggettivi, the position of adjectives.
Sì, esatto.
Cominciamo?
Sì, dai.
Okay, position of adjectives, because adjectives go in a particular place in Italian, don't they?
Sì. Usually when we start learning Italian, one of the key rules is that in Italian, unlike English, adjectives are placed after the noun.
Yeah, so if I bought a green coat, shall we say,
Ok, sì.
what would that green coat be in Italian?
Ho comprato, so because you bought, un cappotto verde.
Un cappotto verde. So this green coat, un cappotto verde.
Sì.
Or a green hat.
Sì, un cappello verde.
Or a green t-shirt.
Una maglietta, una t-shirt verde.
So in each case, the verde, the word for the green, is going after the noun.
Esatto, sì. Or if I were to say Bolzano is an Italian city.
Bolzano è una città italiana.
Perfetto.
Molto bella.
È bellissima, sì, è vero, sì.
So there we've got bella going after the noun and verde going after the noun, contrary to how that happens in English, because in English we put beautiful city, green t-shirt, green hat or whatever before the noun. So it is a little different.
It is. However, there are some adjectives in Italian which also contemplate a different position, so which can be found before the noun.
And so when that happens, the meaning changes slightly, doesn't it?
Sì, we can convey a specific nuance depending on the position.
Let's look at some examples because I think that will help.
Okay, so let's start with the adjective alto, which we all know.
Alto, the opposite of basso, so tall.
Sì, so if I say un funzionario alto, and maybe funzionario is a tricky word, it's an official.
Official. I always think it's a funny word. Un funzionario. It sounds very official.
Molto burocratico.
So, un funzionario alto.
Sì.
That is literally a tall official.
Sì, so the idea is that this official is not short,
Yeah.
so it's not basso.
Esatto,
Okay?
esatto.
I could also say un alto funzionario. Luigi è un alto funzionario.
So this is less about his physical stature and more about his importance, perhaps.
Sì.
So he's high up in the ranks.
So maybe Luigi is actually short, so we're not really interested in how tall Luigi is, but we want to stress that his role, for example, is very important.
So let's just check one thing. If Luigi were important, but also tall,
okay,
could we say Luigi è un alto funzionario alto?
Technically, although probably it's not very good Italian, repeating the same adjective twice, but I see what you're trying to say there.
So we've got alto, which when it comes after the noun, it means its physical meaning, its normal meaning, it means tall. But when it comes before the noun, it's got more to do with the status of a person in a sense.
Sì, this is really the status of Luigi in this case. And the same applies to a similar adjective, which is the adjective grande.
So big, basically.
Big.
So give us an example.
So let's move to a poet now. Un poeta grande.
So that is literally a large in stature poet. So not a small person, but a large person.
So we're talking in a way about the size of the poet. But if I were to say un grande poeta.
Yeah, he's a great poet. We use a different word in English in that case, using great meaning of importance and status again.
So it means that he's really good. He writes amazing poetry, and we're not really interested in his actual size as such.
So Dante, we don't really care if Dante was tall or small, but he definitely was un grande poeta.
Esatto, sì. Dante fu un grande poeta.
Fu, what a lovely verb there. Little past historic thrown in there.
Perché no?
And if you're interested in the past historic, then do check out Coffee Break Italian Season 3.
Esatto, sì.
And also our masterclass, which is wonderful. Anyway, let's move on, because we were talking about Dante there. He was certainly around some time ago. Is there a word that we could bring into the same category of going before and after that's got a relation to that?
See, I think I know what you're thinking about is the adjective vecchio.
Vecchio. Okay, yeah.
So I can talk about una amica vecchia.
So in that case, that literally means an old friend. So you're talking about your friend who's perhaps elderly, who's older in age, and it's going afterwards because, again, that's that physical, the basic meaning in a sense.
It's usually when the adjective goes after the noun. It's probably the first meaning that we learn when we study Italian. So the initial meaning of the adjective is when the adjective goes after the noun. But if I were to say, Monica è una mia vecchia amica.
So Monica is one of your old friends. Una mia vecchia amica. So just una vecchia amica would be an old friend, meaning you've known her for a long, long time.
Okay, but probably Monica can also be very young. So we're not talking about Monica's age, but just the length of our friendship.
Esatto. Okay. What about bello?
That's another. Bello is actually quite interesting. First of all, because if you remember, Mark, bello undergoes all those spelling changes if it's placed before the noun.
Esatto.
So I think that's season 2.
I believe so, yeah. We're doing all the references today.
Sì. So if we say una persona bella.
A beautiful person.
So we're just talking about the physical appearance. But if I say, è veramente una bella persona.
So that's where we're talking about this kind of higher level. They're a really good person, they're a really nice person. They've got a beautiful heart, perhaps. It's that kind of idea.
So it's more like the inside. Maybe it's a very generous person, a person with a good heart, with a big heart. So we would describe that person as una bella persona.
Yeah. And just as Francesca said there, when bella or bello comes before the noun, we need to think about how it's going to change depending on what comes afterwards. And one little tip there is that it follows the same pattern as the definite article, doesn't it?
Esatto.
Francesca, I've got a question for you, because I know you've said about una bella persona, meaning a beautiful person, their heart is beautiful, versus una persona bella. But I'm sure I've heard people referring to un bel ragazzo, una bella ragazza, where they're not necessarily talking about the heart, they're saying they're good looking.
Sì, that's true, Mark. I should say that the adjective bello and bella quite naturally, quite instinctively, let's say, goes before the noun. A little bit because of the similarity with the definite article. So il, lo, so bello, bella ends like the definite article lo, la. So it sounds kind of natural to have it before the adjective. And also, if we say una ragazza bella, probably we just want to say that she's good looking and not the opposite. Whereas una bella ragazza, in this case, we're not talking about moral qualities as it was the case with the previous example, but we are just stressing that she's really beautiful.
Okay. Molto bene. Grazie.
Okay, prego.
There's another word, another adjective that I'm thinking about that is similar in a sense to bello, bella, and not least because there's a similarity with the article, this time the indefinite article. Do you see where I'm going here?
Penso di aver capito. L'aggettivo buono. Buono. So yes, as you said, because it ends in no, it's very similar to the indefinite article uno, or un when we say buon, for example. So for this reason, we tend to find buono quite often in front of nouns.
Yeah. So when you put it after the noun,
Mhm.
let's say we're talking about un professore buono.
Buono, sì, sì.
Is that someone with a good heart?
Sì, he's a good person.
Yeah.
Sì, sì, sì.
Whereas-
We're talking about the person, the human being,
human
not
being.
the profession.
However, un buon professore,
Mhm.
that would be the fact that he's a good teacher because
Sì.
he has studied well and he
Sì,
prepares his lessons
sì,
well and
sì,
so
he's
on.
good at what he does.
Yeah.
Sì,
Good.
sì. So we're
Okay.
talking about the profession in
Mhm.
that case. Sì.
We will have other examples in our
Mhm.
blog article,
Sì,
and there's
sì.
plenty more of these examples and these different
Mhm.
adjectives that work in different ways in the blog article. But I think we've got time for one more.
Ok.
Can we do nuovo?
Nuovo, va bene, va bene. So, nuovo significa new,
Mhm.
ovviamente. Se io dico, Mark, ho comprato un maglione nuovo.
Mhm. Then you've bought a new jumper.
Jumper, sì, ok.
Just a new jumper.
A new jumper. If I say ho comprato, or if you see me and you say, Francesca, hai comprato un nuovo maglione.
So am I saying there that have you bought another jumper, like a
Sì,
new jumper in addition
sì.
to the one you've got already?
So it could be a second-hand, for
Yeah.
example, jumper, but you just want to say that it's another one,
Yeah, right.
an
So
additional one.
in the first case, when you bought your new jumper, that was a brand new jumper.
Sì,
But the second time, it could be a second-hand one,
sì,
but it's
sì.
new to you.
Sì,
It's
sì,
another
sì,
one.
esatto. Sì,
Okay.
è interessante, vero?
So we've looked at a number of adjectives today, adjectives that change their meaning depending on whether they're placed in front or after the noun. We've looked at alto,
Sì,
grande,
grande,
vecchio,
sì,
bello,
mhm,
buono,
buono,
and nuovo.
sì, sì.
And as I say, there's more in the blog article. We hope that you have enjoyed this lesson. Of course, as I've said now, there are more examples in the blog article, and you'll see all of the words written down so that you can see exactly where they go and how they work. There is a link in the description for this podcast to that article.
Sì, è vero. And if you would like more help with your Italian, just sign up for our regular free email lessons. And for that, visit coffeebreaklanguages.com/Italian.
You can look out for that next lesson coming to you very soon. Francesca, grazie molte.
A te, Mark.
Grazie a voi e alla prossima.
Happy coffee breaking!
You have been listening to a Coffee Break Languages production for the Radiolingua Network. Copyright 2024 Radiolingua Limited. Recording copyright 2024 Radiolingua Limited. All rights reserved.